G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags. Yes, I am back. Well, at least sort of. Once again, I seem to be having a bit of an encounter with Merphys Law. However, this time it's affecting me in real life. First things first, apologies for the croaky voice. I've actually been avoiding and holding off on this video for a couple of extra days. The day after I signed off last time to build the new computer, I actually come down with the flu and I've still sort of got it. Today's the first day that I sound even close to my normal self, and I still sound like I'm gargling gravel, so apologies for that. The second thing is this may be the only War Thunder video I'm able to put up this week. Run into a massive problem with the new computer. Turns out the nice, shiny, brand new Thermaltake 900 watt power supply I ordered in to feed the new machine was faulty. This is in fact the only battle that I managed to record successfully from start to finish on that power supply before it died. The last video that I did I actually recorded on the backup power supply I'm using at the moment, but the backup power supply is a bit of a problem. It's only a 490 watt power supply. It's about 200 watts lower than what I need to feed this computer. Now I've just spotted first target at the distance. I'm just adjusting myself here to get ready to take shots and shoot some back. Pre-angling, I'm sure he would be able to see me by now. Foliage is still not acting as camouflage, as you can see, which is truly ridiculous. And a bounce, but I was just aiming at the red box and not at the actual tank, so to be expected. And there he goes. The turret went off too. Very nice. I do love the effects of ground forces. I have issues with a lot of other things, which we'll come to soon. So anyway, power supply problems. The 490 that I have in the system, as I said, is about 200 watts not powerful enough for what I need. This is a problem. It's good enough that I can run the desktop, I can run my video editing software, as you can see, that's how I'm making this video. That's all fine, but the second I start trying to run a game, the computer starts trying to draw more power and starts putting that power supply on its absolute limit. Hitting the recording button, the record button for my software after I've started the game is tantamount to hitting the power off button on the computer at the moment. It immediately crashes it out and activates the surge protection system. So I'm having a massive issue as I can't record anything. Just putting some shells into the side of this AI at the moment. I don't like having these things in the area. They tend to have some uncanny amounts of accuracy. Just going to put a shot straight through the front of the turret. Very important to disable that main gun for me at the moment, as this is the second battle that I've ever had in the IS-1. At the moment I don't actually have any repair parts or the extinguisher, so any critical hit that damages a component on my tank at the moment is fatal. I cannot repair, I cannot put out a fire. Now I'm aware there is a player in front of me at the moment. He is hiding down below a ridge line, however, so I haven't been able to get a shot on him, and he doesn't appear to be cresting, so I'm quite happy to leave him there for the moment. Unfortunately, I also have a player to my rear. Now, I do have one of our allies. He's up on that ridge fighting him at the moment. I'm just seeing whether or not I can get a lucky snipe into his back. But it looks like he's moved forward in that fight, so no point in me waiting around here too much. I'll just make a target of myself. Now, I haven't actually realised at this time what that player tank over that ridge actually is. But we'll get to that in a second. Just beginning to very cautiously cross this ridge and open ground. I know there's player tanks in the area, I just keep the head on a swivel. And there's an AI, and it's still alive. Angle the tank. Now, where to shoot this thing to kill it? Well, a critical hit. AI sometimes feel like they're hollow. You put shells in them in spots that should cause them to blow up, and nothing. Oh. I did, however, get a kill out of that one there. The second shot was wasted, but all good. Moving on. Okay, so I know there's a player tank over this ridge. The AI has been cleared to my rear. I can move on him without worrying about getting shot in the arse at the moment. Now, I know he's firing down into the valley at the moment, so I've been seeing some of the markers come up on the map. And there it is. And shit, it's a king tiger. Oh, that's alright. We'll just push him over the cliff. Put one shot into him to break his tracks. Ram him again. Continue pushing against the wreck to push him up on his side, and one straight through the valley, killing because fuck physics. Now it is probably worth noting at this time that I did all of that without taking a single ounce of damage to any component on my tank. As I said, fuck physics. So that move has put me in a nice depression now in the valley on the cliff wall. So time to go up the edge of this valley and see what that hostile tank that's on my marker is. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I reckon it's probably an AI. And sure enough, yep, it's an AI. But there is a player tank over in the distance too. Player tank is in the depression over the other sides of that ground cover, so there's no point in me dealing with it at the moment. Get rid of this AI first. One shell in. I'll just move up past this bush so I can actually see what the hell I'm shooting at. Rear deck into the engine bay. That should do the job. Yep. That gets rid of him. Okay, the player should be in a position where I can shoot him now. Yep, apparently so. He has just dropped artillery on me. If I first shot him, and then throttle up, get the tank out of the artillery position. Still trying to keep it angled in this general direction so I bounce any shots that are coming in. Remember, I have no repair parts in this tank. I cannot afford to take damage. Now he's disappeared for the moment. I've got no visual on him, and our team is really running out. This was only a 6-on-6 battle, and 3 of our team are already dead, and 1 of them is in the plane now, which is not particularly useful at this time. There he is, put 1 shot in. Nothing too damaging, nothing important was critical. I need a better shot where I can aim. Ah, there he is. Aim at the lower plate. I should have known better than that. I did somehow manage to damage his cannon barrel shooting the lower plate. I have no idea how that works, but that's all I did for the moment. Second shot, trying to go for the turret ring. Doesn't appear to be turning, so I may have actually got it. His cannon barrel's out too. Now I'm trying to put one through the driver's viewport from this range. Considering I've only got stock ammunition at the moment and stock configurations of the gun, it's amazing that I'm even hitting the driver's hatch at this range, or the view slot at this range. Fine, 2 shots there, both bounces. I'll put 1 into the barrel next, just to make sure that gun stays broken. That should prevent him from being able to finish me off here. And Commander's Cupola, that'll work. Yeah, that did the job. Okay, so what did we learn here? Well, shooting the lower plate at extreme ranges with an IS-1 will somehow break a Panther's barrel. Don't ask, I don't know. Perfectly centered hits on the driver's view slot will not penetrate. They're actually more heavily armoured than the rest of the tank, where there should be a weak point there. So the weak point isn't a weak point. Repetitively shooting the barrel will prevent it from ever being repaired, so you can disable the tank's ability to fire back completely at will. And the Commander's Cupola is a guaranteed 1-shot kill. Beautiful. Glad we got that sorted out. I pause here for a second and take a shot at the ME410. It nearly gets me killed. As I'm moving forward, I suddenly realise on the map that I'm actually being flanked. Because I was paying too much attention to the plane, I never saw the guy that I just killed respawn rolling back down the hill. Now this guy is going to be pissed. And there's the artillery barrage, so I've got to move this tank up and around the corner. Trying to keep the nose angled to him. First shot, penetration, no damage. Where to aim? Try and put 1 straight into the turret ring. He moved. And I really could have done without that bounce. Somehow he manages to miss at that range. Try and put 1 into the track, so I damage the suspension, but I don't break the treads. Trying to keep myself angled and just trying to move him to strafe me here. 1 in. I was trying to break the turret ring again. Didn't work. Now I'm trying to get an angle on his rear. 1 in the deck. How that didn't kill me, I don't know. He's on fire, but... And it looks like I have broken the turret ring with that shot. 1 extra into the back just to make sure he's down. And he's executed. Now I'm not entirely sure. I reviewed the replay on this match to check this out, but unfortunately the lag to this server means the replay isn't entirely accurate. Servers with a ping this high, you're regularly watching an aircraft replay, watch your shells go flying past the aircraft as it's exploding, so it's hard to measure here, but it looked like that Panther's last shot actually went straight through my IS-1 without doing damage. Now just cleaning up an AI here, we're starting to get capped. I probably should have moved on to the cap circle at this point and decap the enemies. We have one tank moving back to support, but I decided to go back and try and rescue our cap anyway. Now, that Panther driver back there is likely going to be very pissed right now, and as far as I'm concerned, he deserves to be. There was no reason that I should have survived that encounter, and I am almost positive that last shell he fired, which should have been a fatal shot to my tank, should have completely immobilised me, and with no parts, I wouldn't be able to repair it. And I'm positive that went straight through the front of my tank from wheel to wheel, without actually breaking anything. But that's not the only damage model issue you're going to see in this match. I mean, we've already watched the physics engine mess up. There's another thing to look at in the IS-1 yet, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. Now, at this point I was really wishing that I'd gone for the enemy cap instead. The aircraft that was flying around on our team has been shot down, but it turns out he had a remaining tank. He's respawned in at the southern spawn. Right now he's making a mad rush towards the cap circle. So right now the whole remainder of this team is heading towards A. I'm really hoping there's multiple enemy tanks inside this circle at the moment so we can really make a battle of this. Otherwise we've basically given up the field to throw all our numbers at the cap. And nope, there's just one. And it gets taken out right as I'm cresting the ridge. Well, these guys are going to move straight out and go back to hunting tanks. I don't have any repair parts, and I've pushed my luck a little bit too far in this match already, so I'm quite happy to sit back in and be the one that recaps our base so we don't lose. So, while I'm collecting my loser points here and recapping the base, what is going to happen with the channel at the moment? Well, the faulty power supply has been sent back. It has been received on Thermaltake's end. They have issued a replacement one to me under warranty. So that's all well and good. The problem is they're sending it by Australian Post, which means it could arrive in 24 hours as of recording this video, or it could arrive in 6 days. I have absolutely no idea how long it'll take. The Australia Post is not exactly the fastest postal service on the planet. In between now and then, I was talking to somebody in the know, and they said if I tune all the graphics in the game back down to bare minimums, it will reduce the power draw from the video card significantly, as it doesn't really need to do anything. Back down to the point where the onboard video would actually be able to render the game. And this might be enough to allow me to at least record some matches, but it will be in the old graphics level, which I don't really want to do. Let me know in the comments if you think that is something I should try. Now besides that, other games, MechWarrior Online will not record at all. It won't even run without crashing the computer. World of Tanks is so poorly optimised, it's actually harder to record on than War Thunder is. Kerbal Space Program may work. I actually haven't had a chance to test the recording software on it yet. Because I'm using only small parts at the moment, I'm starting a whole new career for a series that I'm going to put on the channel. I may be able to put some of my preliminary work on that up, but the next week is going to be sparse. I'm going to do my best to get some stuff up, but Merphys Law has kicked me pretty hard once again. The good news, of course, is once the new power supply arrives, it is literally a 5-minute job to change this power supply over and have the entire computer up and running at full power, and the first thing I'll be doing is hitting the record button on War Thunder and starting to get footage as fast as I can. So, fingers crossed, it won't take too much longer and we'll go back to business as usual. Also, for those of you wondering, that's why the really short intro at the start of this is not likely going to be my standard intro. This is just using the assets that I had floating around on the computer at the time because I couldn't record anything new. So, zone captured, time to move out. Unfortunately, we've lost another one of our tanks. Uh-oh, this is not looking good. And we've got an enemy right in front of me. Now I admit, I should have hulled down here and let him come to me. So I effectively killed myself, but the way is interesting. Yes, after all the bullshit you've seen happen so far, I did just get one shot by a Panzer, and I took no damage. So little damage that the tank is still completely viewable in third person mode. So let's take a look and see exactly where the hell this Panther hit me, and how it managed to do it. Well, if you look very closely at the front of the tank, the lower plate, you'll see there is a single hole. Let's just get rid of this, and hang on, we'll rotate it around. No damage from the sides, as you can see, there. So, as you can see, the penetrating shot location was on the lower glacis slightly to the right-hand side. Now, the question is, should that have one-shot killed every crew member in the entire tank without actually doing any damage to the tank's components? And the answer is no, I don't think it should have. A penetration from that position would definitely have killed the driver. The driver sits right behind that position in the plate, so he should have died. It possibly should have killed one of the crew members in the main hull as well, as the shell would have passed basically down the entire center axis of the tank. Now, from that point, it should have struck the back wall, the firewall between the crew compartment and the engine in the back of the tank. Now, this is where things get interesting. On that wall is an ammo rack that should probably have detonated, but it didn't. Things get more interesting again when you consider that this firewall isn't actually armoured. It's just a steel plate with a heat treatment to protect the crew members from the heat of the engine and from the heat of a potential engine fire. There was no reason to armour it, as the front of the tank is armoured, the back section of the tank is armoured, and between the firewall and the crew compartment from behind is a massive thumping block of steel and iron that makes up the engine. A shot fired from such close range from a Panther should have penetrated that front plate, should have killed the driver, should have probably killed one person in the hull, should have either struck the ammo rack on the back wall, blowing the tank to pieces, a one-shot kill, or it should have penetrated the firewall, striking the engine, destroying the engine and setting it on fire, which, with no repair parts and no fire extinguisher on this tank, also would have led to a one-shot kill. However, what I cannot see is a way that a Panther shell with that much penetration fired at that short a range could have penetrated the front plate of the tank, ricocheted off the back wall, and then bounced through the inside of the cabin, killing all of the crew members of the tank without actually striking any vital components, any ammo racks, and without actually penetrating the rear firewall and destroying the engine, or destroying any other components in the tank anywhere. There's no way it should have happened. Now, you might say that this is completely unimportant, as, a one-shot kill was a one-shot kill, and as I just said, the shell should have one-shot killed me. That part isn't what is incorrect, it was the way it did it. It is very important how the shell actually kills you, however. This shows there's a problem with the damage model on the IS-1. Earlier on, I somehow avoided damage that should have probably killed me. This time I took damage in a way that the tank shouldn't have taken. There's a massive flaw in the IS-1's damage model here. And if we're ever going to find ourselves with a game that actually has relatively closely to perfectly accurate historical damage models, I don't think we'll ever see perfectly, but if we can get it pretty close, that would be okay. If we're ever going to see that, we need to recognise these problems in the damage model and report them for what they are.
We suffered a defeat. Head back to base.
So, the results for this match: 3 player kills, 3 AI kills and 1 assist, but I died. Ground Forces Rescuer, Killstreak X2 and Anti-Mech. 18,117 Silver Lions and 2,321 research points. So all in all, not quite enough research points in order to unlock the tracks. Only 2 more upgrades to go when I can actually fix the tank. So there you go, my second match in the IS-1. My first match I accidentally went into an arcade battle and ended up quitting out, which cost me an X2, but that was stupid of me. I should have made sure I was set to realistic. So overall, what do I think of the tank? Well, it's a bloody good tank. It has some massive damage model issues, however, both in taking damage and the way it deals with it. It's just, the whole tank feels wrong. The time the Panther was firing at me, it appeared like shells were passing through the tank, then getting one-shot killed like that in a manner that, well, I should have been one-shot killed one way or another, but just not the way I died. It really does feel like there's a major issue with this machine. But taking away from that side of it, it drives nicely, it shoots well, it feels okay. Well, at least okay as any tank can feel with the current physics of War Thunder ground forces, which, let's be honest, are not brilliant. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more. Drive smart, drive safe, and I'll catch you on the battlefield.